Vocal signings there of Edwin Collins. Edwin Collins, anybody?
Yes.
He was a godlike genius in my life with his hit. They only had one hit on Juice, but I Rip It Up. Obviously, that's to do with Rip It Up and Start Again after the humiliating hammering we got by West Brom.
Those titans of international
Exactly.
The damn squib.
Coolest man of pop music was Edwin Collins in my day.
Sadly, very seriously ill.
He's a lot better though, you know.
Is he?
Yeah, he had a stroke and now he's a lot better.
A friend of mine is depressed.
I'm always better after a stroke.
Come on, everybody, let's have a party. Oh, strange parties I go to. Tonight's show comes in association with Marks and Spencer's French Lager, cheaper than the Belgian lager.
Other lagers are not available.
I, to be honest with you, I think this is as good as their Belgian.
I'm
anyway.
not so sure.
Yes. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, my guests this evening, fresh from presenting last week's podcast, Inside a Fishbowl. Not so much a man of mystery anymore. Frankly, the reality is more of a disappointment than we expected. Ladies and gentlemen, Wilburforce McCrew Moose. Alongside him, alongside me even, on the other side, I think he was on last week's podcast, but frankly, I couldn't tell because I couldn't. Actually, you're the only one that couldn't. Stephen Lomo was. I couldn't understand him at all. I could only smell his beauty.
His beauty smell.
Yeah. Leighton Snow's answer to Clark Gable, ladies and gentlemen, 50 Stew. And at the end there, the Raheem Sterling of the podcasting world. In that we secretly expected to fuck off to Spurs at any moment. It's journalism's teenage heartthrob, Zarif Rasool.
Can I clap myself?
Yeah. I asked you that question because I will ask you every single fucking time I meet you. How do you pronounce your name?
Zarif Rasool.
Rasool. I got it right. Come on, everybody. I got it right. Come on. So. Hold on a minute. Before we go any further, I was on holiday. I was in the Isle of Wight. I should have been in Italy, but the wife.
Admin. Let's just say.
Well, the wife's supposed to. The wife's had a passport. She's supposed to check with her passports up there. But my daughter's passport was out of date, so it's the wife's fault. So I went to the Isle of Wight for a week. Lovely, nice. Nice the Isle of Wight. You can go to the Isle of Wight. Lovely.
Yeah.
Vintage Vacations, in association with Vintage Vacations. If you want to go to Isle of Wight, go to Vintage Vacations. Really lovely. It's got actually Vintage Vacations. It's these
is
kind
it,
of.
Is it a handbill for me?
No, it is. It's in 50 style. It's 50 style. Yeah, it's 50 style. Anyway, I digress. No, you should really. I'll give you the
football.
Yes, sorry.
We're excited about the opening day of the season.
What the fuck was going on with the sound last week? What's the story?
Posh James behind the camera.
Yeah.
There you go.
Posh James.
Say hello to Posh James, everybody.
Posh James.
Hello.
I feel bad for Posh James, but there you are. So, I'm presuming the reason why it was bad was because you couldn't. Somebody somewhere was saying, "Oh, this is wrong to have a podcast without Iain's on it." So, what I did hear, it was really good.
It was. Yeah.
Was he better in the pub?
He was better in the pub before and after.
What bit of gem did he do in the pub that you didn't get a chance to?
I'll do the gem in the pub because we all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We asked Razor what it was like, when you're playing with people and they move off and play for other teams, like your mates.
Yeah.
And he said, I always enjoy beating them, but there's only one thing better than beating your mates in a game. And Stu said to him, "What's that?" And he went, "Hurting your mates." Not just a little bit, really hurting them so they can't walk again.
Nice.
That was
I wasn't so much like a scandalous observation. It was more the fact that I perceived Ruddock to be a strong, aggressive defender type character. And in fact, what he said to us was, he said, if the manager called you in your office, you were scared. And I was like, wow, that's a revelation. The idea that, and he was saying that about, across the piece that was how football was viewed. And when Roy Evans tried to be modern and said, "Look, guys, call me Roy," he said, "No, it's boss." It's boss.
Uncle Roy put Mark 1 there, of course. That was
that's
where it all went wrong. And Colin banging their daughter.
Actually, but also that the great statistic he told us when he was at Spurs and Souness sold Liverpool to him.
Yeah.
Because he was offered more money to go to Blackburn. And Souness says to him, "You're at Spurs, you've got 7.5 million people around the world, love you. Liverpool, 750 million, will love you." And he signed.
Again, Souness should have worked, shouldn't it?
Yes, it should.
It should have worked. But then again, I was only having a same conversation the other night with somebody who was saying, John Barnes should have worked on Channel 5, but it didn't, did it? He had everything. He's a bright man, he's an attractive, handsome man, with a pedigree, clever, and he's fucking useless.
And in a neat little segue, talking about things that should have worked, tiki-taka football should have worked at the weekend.
Well, you've segued for me there. Let's talk about the first game, the West Brom. I think it was a 3-0 defeat.
Yeah,
Our worst opening game defeat since what?
75 years. I think.
75 years.
What
We're breaking records. Last year we finished lower.
What was most depressing was the fact that it was more of the same, wasn't it? It's Windy Pops, how many minutes is that? Run for your lives. You can speak.
10.
Gosh, James. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. He's just wobbled the camera now. It's so
Breaking the fourth wall. Breaking the fourth wall, James.
10 minutes.
And today's winner of the raffle is Alex Chung.
Congratulations. But it was, dominating the game, not finishing the game, not finishing the chances. We should have had 4 or 5 goals. It was ridiculous. And then just terrible, shitty mistakes, and there you are. But what we were supposed to have signed someone to finish those chances off. He was essentially Barini was all right, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there being a centre forward finishing because Suarez was up there on his own. It seemed bizarre to me.
Well, I could cut in because, funny enough, the guy behind the camera wrote an excellent article which is on the website, which is the website, of course, is www.weareliverpool.co. What is it not?
No, not UK.
There you go.
.com.
James wrote an excellent article, and we've just given today a contract, or in the last couple of days, a new contract, 4-year contract to Martin Skirtle. And one of the points James made in his article is that Martin Skirtle really should take most of his contract money and go and put it in Daniel Agger's coat pocket because he makes him look a far better player than he is. The Agger's red card came from Skirtle doing an impersonation of Jamie Carragher and falling over when confronted with a centre forward, and Agger had 35 yards to catch up on Shane Long. The second penalty, I have a lot of sympathy for Skirtle for, but he went into complete panic mode the moment Agger
I wouldn't say about ask you, sorry, but for me, the second penalty was the fact that he's been told to think and pass.
Yeah, it's very true.
You
can tell. I mean, normally in that situation, if you'd gone back 2 seasons ago, he would have just hoofed it straight away.
Lump it forward!
He takes that extra couple of steps to think about where should I play to feet, and in that time, to be fair, Shane Long very alert.
I think even worse than that. I think, to be honest with you, I think he's thinking, "Where's Dan?
Probably
I give the ball to Dan. No,
That's the instruction.
I don't create. I give the ball to Dan. Dan creates when I've got the ball."
The back four, you can tell, especially now more so, when someone has the ball, instead of lumping it long, you either give it to Daniel Agger or Lucas will drop the further 15-20 yards from the centre circle to receive it in that zone as like a pivot, will turn around and spray it either way.
I think that assessment is a little unfair because we just conceded a penalty and saved it. We were down to 10 men, and the team was a little bit in disarray. And who was telling Skirtle that Long was coming up his arse? Because that's what should have been happening.
Yeah.
Somebody else within the penalty box should have said to Skirtle that Shane Long was near him. Instead, he tried to kick the ball.
Well,
it was a surprise.
I think for me,
and that was what happened.
that's never a penalty. That penalty.
No,
Just because you didn't even know he was there.
Well,
so you can't.
But you can't. That's not a defence, is it?
Yes,
He
it
kicked
is.
him and he fell over.
No, he didn't. Stuart and I have been having this argument probably on Facebook for days now. The first penalty, I have, apart from the fact it was slightly outside the box.
I think it's soft as well.
Yeah, I can see from the distance the referee was, the fact that Agger's leant into him. I think most of us feel harshly judged by on the penalty because it looks like such a soft thing to get a red card for. Let's be honest, those that have played the game at any level, you're thinking, if you're going to get a red card, make it worth getting a fucking red card. So the fact that he's leant into him and we've seen him walk up, we've all gone, oh, that's a bit soft. Technically, if the ref thought that was in the box, that's a penalty. Skirtles, I disagree with Stuart entirely. Skirtle's looking to play the ball, long lips in front of him, kicks the ball almost out. He's not got the ball under control.
No, that's one thing
right?
about, yeah.
Skirtle doesn't break stride, doesn't do anything. Long stops in front of him. That is never a penalty in a million years.
But I would say, though, that to discuss the whys and wherefores of the penalties would be to overlook the...
No, it's just on my list.
No, I realise we're all together. But listening to, as we go into depth about it, what actually happened was that, like last year, we kind of got a bit ruffled and just fell to pieces. And it was kind of like, have we moved nowhere forward?
No, I think we went to pieces because we were down to 10 men.
Why can't 10? Many teams play with 10 men and can be organised.
But when you're thinking, right, we're playing a new way now. We're going to play a new way. We're playing a new way,
which is what made it a damn squibber. It was
right,
kind of like,
let's go backwards, right? Let's see
I'm on the second point on the list here.
Let's go back. Well, it's the same thing. Let's go back to that game. The wheels came off. You've got Liverpool. You mentioned this. We've been in the pub beforehand. You mentioned we're out there. They're out there. It's a brave new dawn, a brave new way forward. They're playing away. They're dominating possession. Suarez, as Iain's put down there, should have had 4. It's going to go in. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. And then someone cracks one in from 30 yards, which is exactly what Stuart Downing did against Gommel.
No,
so
that's not. It's not exactly
that.
Stuart Downing did fuck all the rest of the game.
I know,
and then scored a fantastic goal, the sort of goal he should.
But what happened is Gommel dominated us for the majority of the game. We smacked one in, they went to pieces. What happened to us was all the belief. The red card was a secondary issue for me.
The whole game.
The belief went out of Liverpool when we went 1-0 down.
I don't think it did because I think we stopped the second half with some momentum, and until Agger was sent off, I thought Liverpool were going to get back into this. We were creating a lot of chances in the first sort of 5 to 10 minutes of that second half, and then the wheels came off completely when Agger was sent off. The shape went. Carragher, I do not think will thrive under Brendan Rodgers, and that's just not age. I just think as
it doesn't matter who the manager is. Carragher's not going to.
It's going to be exacerbated by the fact
as we were talking about Carragher later on. But you know, he's not going to thrive because he's 47. That's how dog is. I think the players, Skirtle, the lesser players, how can I put this? Less bright players who were basically bring to the club and they've just played football before. Then they've been Uncle Roy brings in and goes, right, we're playing a rigid formation now. If you get in defence, you go to fucking get it forward as quickly as possible. Humph it. I don't want you playing any clever football. Humph it. This is the system we're playing in. This system like this, and then this system like this, and then this system like this. That's that. Before that, they'd never really even thought about it. They just played football and enjoyed themselves and played nice football and done it. And then
like Jack Russell's left the league.
Yeah, exactly. And then less of a Skirtle, less of a Jack Russell, more of a Pitbull. And then somebody else comes in, so he goes out, and then we've got now a new system where he's now got another system to get in his head. Oh my God! Normally I just kind of go around hurting people. Now I've got one system. I've got to throw that system out now. I've got to think about another system now. I've got to think so much about thinking and passing it. Whereas, Agger just passes. That's what he does. And Agger found it difficult in the Hodgson because he was told not to pass, and people were shouting at him not to pass. But now it's completely the opposite. People like Skirtle, initially will struggle, and that's what happened with that. But fundamentally, we had enough chances in that game to win that game comfortably. We haven't solved the problem. Yeah. We need a footballer who is up front who will score goals.
Now you go back to the goal, the strike from Gira, as you said, right? Be honest.
By the way, Gira will never score a goal like that ever again. Okay.
But Pepe Reina didn't touch the ball prior to that game.
No.
We had all the chances. They were winning. They looked like they were looking good in the break, but we were actually defending really, really well. It was totally a deflate the balloon moment.
Do you not think though that there was a little? I mean, even the starting 11, there was a little bit of kind of we disrupted 2 play 2 parts of the pitch because we had one problem. Enrique was out injured. So we moved Johnson. Admittedly, Johnson was one of our better players. He moved Johnson to the left. Why don't you keep Johnson? Why don't you put Johnson on the right and make the problem just the left back? Instead, you put someone out of position who's a good player and then created.
Because Johnson's played left back.
No, true.
When Kenny first came back, there was that period for sort of 6-7 games.
And you know, let's not make any excuses. That's our first 11 that we're playing there. But, you know, bar the full-back situation, that is our first 11, okay? And our first 11 can't score goals, okay? No one's going to suggest Suarez isn't a fantastic footballer, but Suarez shouldn't be in a position where he's the number one finisher because
Suarez is our Andy Cole. So saying 4 to 8 chances to score.
I mean, I know it's an easier league, but the season before we came through, we scored 49 goals. I don't know how you can do that if you're not instinctively a good finisher.
Football.
Yeah, but
Uruguay's goal scoring is
Look, Copa America, how many goals he scored there when they won? I mean,
Okay, let's go back. I'm going to go back to my list. Right, so fundamentally,
We've got potatoes.
there's a reason why this list is the way it is. Right, first and foremost, Steve Clarke knows those players. He knows that system.
Yeah.
He knew the system when it was coming in, and actually was hanging around initially. So basically,
as Matrix said, Steve Clarke, what took one watch of Brendan Rodgers' system against Scomell, was obviously there for Swansea at the last game of the season. I went, well, I know how to play that.
But also knows those defenders inside out.
Also, as well, I'd say, under Dalglish, we played a lot of pass-and-move football. It's not like we've completely revolutionised it. There were intricate elements in the last 18
years. As Steve Clarke said, Steve Clarke said that he thought Kenny would get top 4 this season. So Steve Clarke, I don't think that game was any different than the Kenny Dalglish game. I really don't. Apart from the fact that you haven't got Carroll wandering around there not being passed to. That we got Barini on there who was supposed to be part of the thing.
And if anyone's revolutionised the club, let's be honest, the way Steve Clarke plays football, because let's be honest, he is the new manager of West Brom, just like Rodgers is the new manager. He plays football. He's playing a whole different style of football to what Roy Hodgson was playing at West Brom, and they didn't seem so uncomfortable. And he's not exactly brought in like a list of millions. In fact, all he's got is bloody gear of fit and put him in the team.
They were that new Argentine, didn't they? Jakob in the middle of the cricket.
Can I just have a big shout out for Stuart Downing?
How
about that?
How many words do you want in the shout out?
I don't need to. I mean, if we're going to this later on, but if we're talking about if everybody's been told, if the players have been told, Charlie Adam and Carroll and who else has been told of the fan stuff of the new club. I don't know what pictures has Downing have got of people, because when was his game? When's he
okay. Stuart's made a case for Downing on a couple of times, right?
I know he has. He's wrong though.
I'm going to tell you the one thing that Stuart Downing is, and it comes back to pretty much what Razor was saying last week as well. Downing was fairly anonymous, but he totally disappeared when there was a chance when Gerrard was onside. Downing thought he was offside, didn't lay the ball in, and Steven Gerrard ripped him a new arsehole in front of absolutely everybody. And I watched Downing just deflate from that moment.
Why does Gerrard do that? But then Gerrard's not ripping the bloody referee to pieces when he's giving away.
So why are people not ripping Steven Gerrard? Because actually, Steven Gerrard's first goal was Steven Gerrard's fault.
He gave the ball away.
So Gerrard, forgive me if I'm wrong, but Gerrard was rubbish.
I think Gerrard, apart from Downing,
if I was calling people off, although I don't do that weekends, if I was calling people off, the centre of the midfield was a problem.
We don't really put Gerrard in midfield.
I think Lucas isn't quite fit. I don't think Gerrard's fit. I think Gerrard's fucking knackered. He wasn't fit all last season, and he's played the Euros. He's fucking knackered. I'm not sure whether Gerrard will ever get back.
I'm not sure where his best position is now.
I think it's up front.
Because we're playing this 4-3-3 now.
He might be on the bench.
We've got this 4-3-3, which is the 3 lines. Under Rafa, when he was at his best, we had the 4 lines, which was 4-2-3-1. In that zone between the 2 holding players and the forward, he was in his element there. But now the demarcation isn't the same anymore. So I don't know necessarily where does he go now, to be honest? Because I think Lucas and Allen were positives.
I think Lucas and Alan are now nailed on for the
They are
season.
nailed on. I
thought
Alan
that
was
was
thoroughly
that was
impressive.
great. I think Lucas tired as he would do.
Of course,
I thought Alan was spectacular, but tidy and good, and and he can pass and he can tackle. Wow, imagine that you've got a player who can pass and tackle.
But Alan does not look phased when he gets the ball. When he's pressured, he always finds an option.
But you're very worried
let's-
for Liverpool
let's
Football
not-
Club's best player on his debut to be the best player in the side by some.
But
considerable
let's
distance.
not go crazy here, because we got overrun in the field.
Yeah.
We've got Lucas and Lucas and Allen in there. We're all saying they played well, but we got overrun in midfield, so they didn't play that well because we got overrun in midfield.
But arguably Downing and Barini are part of that midfield, and we haven't got the ball, and therefore that's part of the problem, isn't it? They're not attackers. Out and out, are they?
If I'm B-Rod
Rodgers
against Man City, I would drop Stuart Downing. I'd be tempted to drop Steven Gerrard, because what he needed to do was to make a big statement in that game, and he didn't make a big. He didn't make a big statement.
We've been getting to do that for maybe a decade now.
That was
Can't
kind
do
of
it all the time.
That was kind of my point about the kind of fullback solutions. He could have been more progressive and show how he was, this whole idea he's going to bring youth in. He could have kept Johnson where he was and brought Jack Robinson in or somebody, or he could have even been so radical as to say, right, okay, I'm going to put Johnson at left back, but I saw the footage of how Henderson could play right back. I'll put him at right back. I've lost the, and that
Forgotten about him.
That happened. And that he might have been the finest central midfield player
I
we've
went
got.
very dizzy there. For a
Yeah.
second.
But you take the point though. He did when he was asked to do that game. He played well. Now, if Rodgers has really got to know his players, and clearly there's no noises come out of the club that Henderson's going anywhere, then you'd have thought that would have been a progressive thing to do. Instead,
So the other things on my list, bringing Jamie Carragher on.
You're about to refer to the Didier Drogba replay moment of
Lukaku
it was like a changing of the
the thing is, there's nothing wrong with Lukaku.
I felt really sorry for him.
I feel really sorry for Lukaku. I think that there is a player who is going to be, hopefully, a fucking brilliant player, and he made that stupid error to go to Chelsea like Sinclair's going to do to go into Man City. He's fucked his career up, and he's having to rebuild his career from West Brom. Right? That's a great player. That lad. He's got everything. He's really
a
good.
young Drogba, isn't he?
Yeah. But he's not had a chance. Everybody knows about him. He's got pace. He's good
He's
in the
18
air.
and he's 6
Yeah,
foot
and he's great. He's great. So you've got the whole game. They're doing us for pace. Okay, we're down to 10 men. They're doing us for pace. Who do you bring on? You bring Carragher on. Much as I adore Carragher, and his legacy will be. He's never going to be able to cope. Because
he's never been blessed with pace.
But you're bringing him on to patch up when you're down to 10 men.
Yeah, but you're also
you need someone who's got more pace when
you're also bringing him on and then holding a line at the halfway line.
Yeah, I mean that is suicidal when you're doing that.
And let's be honest, Skirtle did his kind of dress, did like we said, the pantomime Carragher slipping, and then Carragher slipped himself, and that, and that.
So I actually think if Carragher had made contact, he'd have gone. I think because Carragher was trying to pull him down when he slipped when he went past him. I think Carragher would have been a case for Carragher to go as well. Then.
Maybe think about the bench. Okay, so you look at the bench the other day, and the bench was Jones goal, a goalkeeper, Carragher, Cole, Henderson, Adam, Shelvey, and Carroll. Okay,
before you discuss that, who did the fart? Have you not seen the footage?
I was going to say, if it was me, I'd own up to that.
You said Windy Box earlier.
Yeah.
There's a classic bit of footage all the way through there. In the first half, they all sit there, and they're all looking down the bench at each other, and the zips go up, so someone's dropped.
That's
one
obviously
down.
Charlie Adam. I didn't even know.
Well, he's got a good diet for it.
He's got a heavy diet.
That'll be his Iron Brew.
But for me, you've got to make some bold decisions on that bench. If we're talking about bringing in all those young players, if you're talking about Sterling and Morgan and Sousa. Why are they on the bench?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Why is one of them not on the bench?
You said make a bold decision. Well, I'll put Joe Cole out to pasture and put a railgun through his head now because he's fucking useless.
Well, you say that, but he's injured, and he's been brought on too quickly. He's injured.
And that's arrogance. That's my biggest issue of the whole weekend.
Well, you're arrogant. I know it is. You're an arrogant.
The arrogance
we all
of
know that.
bringing a player
his
on.
son's there, he knows
The arrogance. Posh James is not my son. The arrogance of bringing a player on, thinking you were going to be able to bring him on and put him in the shop window because hopefully you'll be 1 or 2-0 up at that point, which is, in my opinion, why Cole was there.
But then we did bring him on and we weren't 2-0 up. So
exactly. So to bring Joe Cole on for Lucas just left us so much more exposed.
I couldn't believe. I know he's. I think that was his game for breakdown. I think he's probably thinking, "Fuck it, we're 2-0. We 2-0 down at the time or 3-0 down? We're 2-0 down. Fuck it. If we lose 3-0, it's just another goal, isn't it? Whereas we keep waiting for these so-called moments of magic from Joe Cole. You can fucking do kick-ups with a golf ball, but it hasn't happened.
But for me,
why didn't Shelby come on then?
Okay,
yeah.
we looked at pre-season. Morgan scored a goal in the pre-season. He scored a goal all the way, in the reserves and for the youth team. He's a goal scorer. Okay, Mourinho has been sounded with a goal scorer. That's fine. He hasn't been doing that. So for me, you have him on the bench. Carroll's got to be on there because I don't know. He's got to be on there because we were supposedly persevering with this nonsense before we sell it. Excuse me. Why is Morgan not on the bench?
Why is Sterling not there?
Wingers
are game changers. People bring on wingers when they want to change the game. They want to change when they want to stretch the full-backs, stretch the play. You bring Sterling on. He's got, as Razor said last week, pace.
Joe Cole being on the pitch was a fallacy. Worse than that was Joe Cole being on the bench ahead of Sterling over the previous week's performance.
Okay. Anyway,
Sterling was class against Leverkusen as well.
Yeah.
Can I the glass half full view of the weekend? No, the glass half.
This, by the way, dear Marks and Spencers, this isn't as good as the Belgian.
I was fascinated to learn that Shankly lost 4-0 in his first game.
Right.
So, and that's my glass half full view. Just out there for Liverpool, I think.
Trust the 50
I'm just saying that was a real surprise for me to learn that, given that's the foundation of Liverpool, modern Liverpool as we know it, he started with a 4-0 loss.
So Twitter isn't around then.
Exactly, no, he lasted 5 minutes. But that is, judging by the kind of overreaction that I've heard, because it is the first game of the season.
We're in crisis.
Yeah, people are already calling for his head, by the way.
Yeah. And
they're not.
People are genuinely calling for his head.
They're not.
Liverpool.
They're not. It was trending on Twitter because people were ironically.
But Iain, forget the Twitter trend bit. But the fact is that if we're not careful, given the record we've had over the last 6 years of managers, we could be on a cycle of 2-year management fixes that never fix anything. Just gradually waste away the asset that's Liverpool. We disappear.
Well, look at it this way: that we may be in crisis, but we're in equal crisis with Manchester United.
No.
Well, I watched that game.
They played all right,
and that made me think again about Carroll and about the way Fellini dominated that game. And I know it wasn't pretty, but you know what? It was proper English football, British football, and I still don't know whether we'd be better off getting some decent wingers and putting some sort of electrocution equipment on Downing, saying you have to go down the wing and cross the ball at pace.
Equally on the centre
and
putting Sterling out wide and getting the ball in the box and building your team around.
Well, for me, there's a great argument for what you said earlier. Or if you're going to persist that way, play Sterling, Suarez, Barini. Is the other option as well, because Suarez played out there for Suarez played out.
His best form for Ajax in Uruguay has always been as a wide forward from the left. Yeah. Coming in and shooting this one there.
I don't think he should be. It's proven now that he shouldn't be the focal point of the attack. Although he's the best, one of the best players in Europe, in the world at the moment, he's not a finisher.
And I still think it's too early to put that kind of sort of the leading A-list role on Sterling. I think he needs 10, 15 games this season, I think, And maybe he'll blossom, maybe he won't. But
Well,
I
Europa League will be on for that.
I don't think.
Well, let's
that
see what happens in March.
But I would say that going back to your point about Andy Carroll and in reaction to what Fellaini did, I think I don't see how Rodgers couldn't sacrifice one perfect cog in his system, i.e., put Andy Carroll in that team, and from that system we'd get Andy Carroll goals because if 9 other outfield players are playing to keep the ball, and you've always got the outlet of Andy Carroll, does that completely break the system?
It didn't break it when Scott Sinclair took that role for Swansea.
But
How do you mean?
Scott Sinclair was not a Suarez role for Swansea. Scott Sinclair played more of a central, receive the ball, slightly lofted ball, not a long ball.
I'm thinking more about the Danny Graham role and
exactly,
long for West
right.
Brom. I mean, it's like they still play football with a player who's sort of, I don't know, flexibility from what he can do on the pitch is limited, but actually it's effective. And that's what Liverpool needs to be effective.
I go back to the podcast that I did a month ago, 2 months ago, and say, fundamentally, if we fail to get Champions League football next season and the season after, do you think Suarez will be a Liverpool player?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Never
So, therefore,
in fact, I think
do you think it's probably a better way to build your team around Carroll? Because if we get rid of Carroll and we don't qualify the Champions League the next 2 seasons, Suarez is off as well, and then you're proper fucked.
Well, how long can we keep buying players based on this legacy? The longer we go without winning anything.
Yeah.
Well, it's right for Arsenal.
How long can that carry on for?
I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. On that positive note, the Tony Fellaini the Man United game. Did you notice that when Anderson came on?
Anderson.
His name was spelt wrong.
It's good, that.
I mean, that bloke has only got one job. He's just got to get the kits right. That's all he's got to
I think
do.
you meant Anderson then for a second.
No. He's just got to put.
To be fair, Paul Scholes had to play as well last night.
He's just got to put the name spelt right on the kit. But
it was beautiful.
Saying that, some of our new signings don't struggle with.
Actually, you just brought another Razor classic back.
Yeah.
Razor said in the pub that he was fined because when they started names on the back of shirts, he wanted Razor. So he had Razor put on the back of his kit because all the Continental players have Chikorito. No, you're not allowed it. You're not allowed. So he went out in it and he got fined £15,000.
At least if they got their priorities sorted out.
Yeah.
Stuff. Benitez, Martinez claims that he turned down the Liverpool job. But it's not just that he's turned it down. He turned it down because he's got a special chairman there.
Liverpool's press office.
And then essentially, he's got a very special chairman, and that essentially is better than being a manager of Liverpool, the most successful team in English football. It's more important, really, to hang out in Wigan if you're getting 3,000 people each.
But being stylishly coiffure as well.
He's got lovely locks.
I
mean, I'm not. Everybody.
You wish he'd said it was the pies, wouldn't you?
No,
Let's be about what
say a Spanish is as good.
He's obviously got a handmade shoe outlet somewhere.
You think so?
I don't know.
While you wait,
I've not found any sound.
I reckon while you wait.
I've not found any sound.
Dave Wickett could come from one of those lovely factories that they make all day.
I tell you what you have got in Wigan. They've got this kind of really weird place just outside Wigan, because when I go back to Pams, I've got to swap over from one Wigan station to the other station, and they've got one of these. They've got this kind of weird shop that does those pretend facts, those.
Yeah.
But it also does like ecstasy tablets, like legal ecstasy tablets, and it's a fucking massive shop, in the town centre. And you think,
perhaps
Dave must be off their heads.
Perhaps Dave Wheatley shops there in the morning.
I don't know. It's a really weird shop. If you come out with the, I don't know why I'm recommending this. Sponsored by Marks and Spencers and that weird shop in
Legal Highs in Wigan.
Anyway,
can I just move on quickly to the rest of the stuff?
Move on quickly.
All I've just got to say, sorry, regular listeners to this podcast will know that we told you Roberto Martinez had been offered the job before Brendan Rodgers, and nobody believed us.
Yes. Oh, and talking of Jamie Carragher, which we're not talking about Jamie Carragher, but we were talking about Jamie Carragher. We're going to second half of the podcast. We're going to do the whole shit about Carragher. We're going to talk about Carragher and about how brilliant he is and how he's the greatest thing since sliced bread Marla and how he's probably
tribute to Jamie Carragher on the subscription part of Pass and Move coming up later.
How'd you get that?
You subscribe by going to www.weareliverpool.co. What is it not, Stu?
Not UK
and not com.
Thank you.
So, other news, Pep Segura has left, presumably because he was told he was going to be assistant manager and then
Well, he told he was going to be technical director.
yeah, that was quickly taken away. He's fucked off.
Which is not too much of a problem because the system's in place and the scouting set up.
Yes.
And
We've got Mike Marsh now, so
just
we're
rewind
fine.
a second. What do you actually think that Roberto Martinez has gained from telling the world that he turned Liverpool down to stay at Wigan?
I don't know.
He's standing amongst Wigan fans with that reason.
And
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but
that's the only
but that
tangible
front
benefit from
room, that front room's not going to be affected that much.
Yeah. So what is he really gaining from coming?
he's put himself in the shop window for the next big job that comes
Next
along.
summer he'll be out.
Okay.
When AVB fucks up this time again.
Martin Skirtle signed a new deal. It's unfortunate timing.
Also, did you look at the picture on the website? He should not be allowed to grow hair.
No.
He looks inherently wrong with hair on his head.
What's with the growing the same hair?
The new wife.
Him and Ag.
It's the new wife. It's the new wife. Oh, I like you with the hair, darling. So
you won, because
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he got married.
No, but
grown
they've
his
both,
hair, I
they've
don't like
both
it.
grown the same hair.
Well, I mean, Aga.
Aga and they've both got that kind of just.
if they go for matching
Yeah,
tattoos
a little
next
bit
as
I
well.
like it. I think it's good. I think it's good that they're
I have
massive.
no comments to make on hair whatsoever.
Yeah,
What does annoy me is he did say, my whole priority all summer was signing a new contract. So that's what's taken place as we're approaching the end of the window. He spent his whole summer fluttering his eyelashes at clubs
Man
around
City,
City
yeah.
after his one truly stellar season for Liverpool. Let's not forget. Oh,
Did he flutter his eyelashes over the
No, I think
His
his
agent
agent
was.
flutters
His agent
his eyelashes.
was.
I don't
Yeah.
think Martin ever really wanted to go anywhere, to be honest.
So, transfers. I don't know if anybody knows, but we signed somebody.
I've got to do this, I can't wait. We've got a new chart. When we're going to see Osama bombing down the wing? Hey! There you go.
Racist. Osama.
Elzar has already flown the flag for them.
Osama Asiadi, or we pronounce
Asadi.
that? I immediately looked at you. Why if you would know Moroccan?
Racist.
That's racist. But he's Moroccan, but essentially he's Dutch, isn't he? He's Dutch because he was at Ajax and
He turned Ajax down to train.
Yeah, and apparently he was up to making his debut, or he's been on the bench, but he was fasting because of his religion, which is hopefully he's sitting there with Charlie Adams giving him a bit of advice about the old fasting.
Sorry, Charlie.
Charlie Adams, who apparently isn't going anywhere. Little does he know. Andy Carroll's been told that so there's lots of things about people saying about Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll's been given 5 days to come up with his what he wants to do with his career. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to stay at Liverpool. But Liverpool don't want him to stay at Liverpool. And then he's been told he's got to get another club.
Well, Carroll, Spearing and Adam have all been told to find another club in the last 24 hours.
One season Adams has, it's terrible.
I think it's awful. I mean, you're looking at the best part of 45 million on the pair of them. Adam's been told he can leave for 5 million. Spearing's been told he can go on loan or find another club. And the Glass boy has been told to find himself another club on loan because it does appear that the weekend's performance was enough.
Yeah, but if he's injured, he's injured. What can he do?
So with Adam as well, his agent is of course David Moyes' brother. Everton linked with him last week as well. And you think if they get him and Fellaini, they will not qualify for Europe by the Fair Play League. That will not happen.
he'll do well at Everton.
Yeah, but you have to realise you cannot play him in a midfield 2. It has to be a 3 because he's a complete liability in 2.
Because he's got he's essentially a mobile sit and he can't move.
What you mean? He could sit in the middle of midfield and pass the ball around like what we actually want players to do.
Yeah, but
Alan
Alan is his chosen version.
Love Charlie.
So
let's do the exciting one.
Haven't we got some?
Let's go on.
Before we do the exciting one, I mean, as much as this sounds like uprooting the team, isn't this evidence, as much as it's frigging taken a long time, about the fact that Rodgers believes in whatever it is he's doing to change Liverpool and how they play?
You know, it doesn't work the way Rodgers plays football. That fits with Charlie. And Joe Cole. Is it not? Well, in theory.
I don't see Adam.
No, I don't see Adam. Adam's not quick enough.
I don't agree with the slightest.
He can play the ball, but he's not quick enough.
He needs time.
Okay,
and
so
unlike Alonso, who is similar in a way, he doesn't have Alonso's presence and vision.
Yeah, Alonso can break play up, whereas Adam just tends to break play up when he tries.
Adam has been offered to Everton, and he's been offered to Fulham as part of the Dempsey deal.
Apparently, we're not interested in Dempsey since he's become a contract rebel, although I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a red shirt at the end of the week.
Spearing Bolton on loan.
Bye, Jay, I'll come and pack your bags for you if you want.
What? I think that's awful. I really do. I think that's really awful because James Spearing is just a young kid. He might turn out to be a fantastic player.
He's 23, 24 now.
Yeah, I know. But, you know...
he can go and be a fantastic player for Bolton.
Okay. Joe Cole, offers coming in for Joe Cole from both private and NHS hospitals. So
I think they're following the Tory thing about branding hospitals abroad, actually. Taking the Joe Cole brand abroad.
Let's do the exciting one.
So this is an exciting one. Is it exciting?
No,
it's not ludicrous. Spanish news sources at Soy Madrista are saying
that's a health product, isn't it?
Kaka, Liverpool are now ahead of Manchester United in signing Kaka. I mean, you know what Kaka means in Italian? It means shit. I mean, I can't see that ever happening. Like, Kaka's 30. You know, Kaka's still got a fantastic touch and he's very immobile, but he'll sell shirts. Maybe the Americans would like the idea of him.
Well, I'll tell you, before we crack on to the go back one, because that's the funny one, Christian Tello, Nuri Sahin, at the time of broadcasting, Nuri Sahin's deal to Arsenal has gone awry because of a wage demand issue, so that's still a possibility. Mourinho wanted him to come and be with Brendan Rodgers, but Sahin wanted Champions League football. Christian Tello was a star for Barcelona at the weekend, so he's probably gone out of our orbit. We have apparently today bid £9 million for Adam Johnson of Manchester City. I'd be delighted to see Adam Johnson. But let's go back to your favourite very quickly because we are running out of time and we've got to do this one.
Michael Owen on a free. How do we feel about that, about Michael Owen?
What, coming to Liverpool on a free?
Yeah.
That was a bit of a silly Twitter rumour today.
I personally would be like one of those, you know, those people, those NF people who don't count goals by black players, and they as we were seeing in documentaries, they've done an
alternate history of
England football. Where black players have never scored 3 goals. I would do that with Michael Owen. If he scored a goal, I would notch it off. I would, if we won the league, I would say no, we've not won the league because Michael Owen scored the goal. Because he played for Man United.
He's the Antichrist. He's the Antichrist, isn't he?
The worst he'll go. If he goes to Everton.
Paul Ince played for Man United, didn't he?
Yeah, Paul Ince played for Man United. Paul Ince played for Man United. Then he came to Liverpool. Michael Owen played for Liverpool and captained Liverpool. And then went to Man United. Went to Britain, did first of all, but he went to Man United. That is unacceptable. He was a legend in Liverpool, and he went to Man United and sat on their bench for 3 years or however long it is. That's unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. Right, because
we are running out of time. Who have we got left to talk about? Walcott. Walcott is apparently still very much on the cards, but may well be January. I mean, Zarif and I were talking about this briefly earlier.
Ramirez?
Ramirez, well, the deal's fallen through, and apparently
it's got to Southampton, isn't it?
No, the deal for Southampton's fallen through because, and maybe the reason we pulled out is he's got miraculously they've discovered he's got third-party ownership the day they went to sign him.
Oh, seriously?
So today,
third-party final theft.
Yes,
Bologna want €15 million for him, but they also want 70% of that fee paid within the first 12 months. Southampton apparently unwilling to pay that upfront.
That looks off. I read this one today. Nolito.
Isn't that a mint drink?
Yeah, it is. It's delicious. Benfica. He's ex-Barca. Apparently, he 11 goals and 29 league appearances. He's been linked. I don't know anything about him, but
I think I think he played quite an important role. They got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. He was heavily involved. I've not heard
midfield
much
player. I
of it.
don't know where he fit in midfield unless he's wide.
Oh,
midfield
coming
player.
back forward. Just wrapping up quickly, just to let you know, for the Hearts game, Suzo's
Oh no,
not.
no, hold the Hearts. Hold on,
Yeah.
don't dismiss the Hearts game.
I'm not.
It's the big one. It's live on ITV4. Everybody, come on!
England
Euro
versus
edition.
Scotland.
England versus Scotland.
Don't dismiss it. Fucking hell!
No,
It's
the
a
good
brilliant
news
game.
is Morgan and Pacheco and even Eccleston
Good.
have been named in the
Good.
squad for that,
Really good.
but Suzo hasn't.
Why?
I don't know, but that was
But
announced
he's been
just
alone.
before we went on air today. That those three have been named in the squad, and also centre half, tall young centre half. Is
For
it
Athens.
Ingu or
Samu?
it's Sama? Yeah,
Sama.
yeah, it's been.
Out of interest, just as an aside, did you see that Tom Ince scored either side of
West Ham is in now, yeah.
Should never be
Yeah,
left
he's
interesting to see if Carroll gets on the pitch in the Hearts game. Obviously,
It'd be
'cause
interesting to see if Carroll makes the squad for the Hearts
Yes,
game.
absolutely. Because if he
And
doesn't,
let's be honest, who should be captain for the Hearts game?
Colour?
In my opinion, yes, captain of the B team.
really?
Carroll.
Okay. And then finally, we're going to get beaten City at home on Sunday.
And we will all be there. Well,
If
most of us will be there.
if Carragher plays, we will get beaten. I mean, much as I love Carragher, and we would second up my best, I'll be telling you how much I love Carragher. But that can't happen. What would you do? What do you do as centre half? Now that Aga's out, what do you do?
Quarters.
Quartes?
Yeah.
you play Quarters
Kelly?
against Hearts and
Kelly?
you see him.
No,
Just play a bit.
Quarters.
3?
Quarters.
Would you play 3?
Quarters.
No.
Kelly, Quartes?
Quarters. Quarters, Skirtle.
Not going to happen,
Fine.
you know. It's not going to happen.
No, it'll be
We'll play
Carragher, and we'll
Carragher.
all sit there and weep. And three of us, at least three of us, will be there to watching it and tout on it live from the game.
You're touting?
Touting live from the game.
Wow,
I'll
must be
explain
live.
it to you later, brother.
Oh. Yeah, don't buy a ticket off Alien. Anyway,
It's an internet term, not a ticket term.
No idea. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a delight, and always, and hats off to Max versus Lagers. Been lovely. We've got a bottle of wine for the next one. Classic.